but here, as you can see, not so many people, much easier to walk and much easier to cross the street. So as it's too crowded in the subway at the moment, I took the bus, which just departs in not so far away from my hotel, and which brings me directly here to People's Square. It's also not so expensive because it just cost 2 yuan to come here. And yeah, what you have to know when you want to take the bus in Shanghai, it's different than in any other city. I've experienced it before in China. So usually when you get in the bus, you have the possibility directly at the driver to pay with cash, and the amount you have to pay is written there, and it doesn't matter how many stops you go. So most of the time it's like that. Or if you have something like the Shanghai transportation card, you usually could use the card also directly next to the driver to pay for the trip. But here it's different. So here are 2 persons in the bus. So one is the driver and one is the person who sells the tickets. And the ticket price, it's flexible, so it depends how many stops you take the bus. So the complicated part is that you have to be able to tell the person who sells the ticket where you want to go. And usually they just speak Chinese, so you have to also know the Chinese name of the place where you want to go to tell them. But then you can pay with cash, you can pay with your Shanghai transportation card, or nowadays also with your mobile phone. So taking the bus otherwise works the same as in all places in China. You can check first on a map with your mobile phone where you want to go, then check which bus you want to take, and then go in and pay for it. But like I told you, you have to be able to tell them where you want to go, that they can estimate what the price will be. So that's the difficulty for when taking the bus in Shanghai. But for me now it's very convenient because it wasn't very crowded. I had a seat. I could go directly here where I wanted to go without fighting against millions of people. So it's very important, especially during public holidays, because for example also some stops of the subway are closed today, so you can't go there by subway. But I know some buses which are next to the subway stop, which bring me back to the hotel. So it's good to have some alternatives, especially when the subway is partly shut down. So you have to have some options which you can choose when you want to go back in public holidays, because in public holidays sometimes it's different. For example, when you remember last time when I have been in Shanghai, I also used the boat to cross the river. At the moment it's just possible to use it in one direction. The other direction is also closed during the public holidays, so you have to know how you can continue from there and how you can deal with the situation. So always have some options to choose some other method of transportation. I've been in Shanghai I think 4 or 5 times during the Golden Week. Everybody says you shouldn't come here at this time, but sometimes it's not possible to do it otherwise. So I have been here during the Golden Week for several times, and usually it's very crowded. And I remember in 2012 it was the worst time here because of so much people. But as you can see, today there are not so many people. So I think from my observation, during the last several years the amount of people decreased during the Golden Week in Shanghai. And I think it's about 30 to 40% less people here in the city. So it's easier to come here also during this time. For me it never was really a problem. I could do everything which I want to do, but just with more people around me. So that's my observation, and I heard that the more popular destinations are, for example, the West Lake in Hangzhou, where the most people will be during this week. I've been there last week, so already seen that. And also, for, yeah, of course, Beijing with the Forbidden City and the Great Wall. So these are very famous destinations during that time. So there will be much more people. But as you can see, in Shanghai, there are not so many people as in the past. So very good. And yeah, that's the Golden Week in Shanghai. So usually the most crowded places in Shanghai during the Golden Week will be, of course, here the Nanjing Road. Then on the other side of the river, around the Oriental Pearl Tower. Then also the Shanghai Disneyland, which just opened several years ago. The other place you should avoid during Golden Week, if you don't want to have so many people around you, is the Yu Garden. So the Yu Garden, and of course the shopping area around it. So there will be also a lot of people during this time. So other places in Shanghai are also more crowded than usual, but yeah, not as the places I just told you. So there will be the most of the people, and yeah, if you are here during this time, I think you will not avoid these places, because yeah, it has a reason why there are so many people, so everybody wants to see it. So you have to expect not to be alone there. You have a lot of company. But there are several good ways how you can deal with this masses of people and also visit Shanghai. So for example, as I told you, you can take the bus instead of the subway to get where you want. And you also don't have to walk down here Nanjing Road. There are always some streets which are in parallel to this one, and you could just walk there. There are not a lot of people, so you can just walk very fast and get where you want, yeah, by foot, on foot. And yeah, it's just usually you just have to go one street to the right, one street to the left, and then it's not crowded anymore, and you can just walk there if you already have seen it and just want to go, for example, to the riverside and see the skyline. You don't have to walk through Nanjing Road, just go to the right or left and then walk in parallel to Nanjing Road. It will be much faster. So during Golden Week there are a lot of things which are different in Shanghai. For example, everywhere there are the Chinese flags. That's one of the smaller things. The skyline is lit up mostly in red, which is also something unique during this time. And as you can see, usually there are these trains which brings you from one side of the Nanjing Road to the other one. And these trains are also not running due to the amount of people which are here during that time. So you will be also not able to use these trains. So yeah, that's also why a lot of people recommend not to come here during the public holidays, especially not during the Golden Week, because a lot of things will not be the same as yeah, during the rest of the year. So if you want to have the full Shanghai experience, avoid the Golden Week. So it's starting at the 1st of October, which is the Chinese National Day, and then yeah, it's just going on for the next several days, for 1 week, and then everything is over and back to normal. Usually most of the people just walk down the Nanjing Road and don't go maybe to the side to some other roads. For example, this is, yeah, a place which is easy to remember. There's also always this yeah, outside bar Taza de Oro. I'm not sure if I pronounce it right. So for example, when you go here to the right, then over there you will find a small supermarket where you can buy some stuff, which it's not so easy to find directly in Nanjing Road. And if you continue walking in this direction on the right, you will find the Lanzhou La Mian restaurant, where you can get yeah, very good food for not so much money. So you will get some rice and some noodle dishes with some vegetables, some beef, everything yeah, which you need. And it's not so far away from the actual Nanjing Road. So when you just go to the left or to the right, there are different possibilities how you can find some food, how you can find some supermarkets to buy some drinks which are cheaper than in some of the souvenir shops in Nanjing Road. So just go to the left and the right and you will find a lot of other interesting things. So especially from here at the end of the Nanjing shopping street, if you will want to continue to walk to the riverside, it will get very narrow, a lot of people there, so hard to walk. So I will now just go to the right and take a street which is in parallel to the other street and which will take me with less people to the same place. So I'm just now in the first street which is parallel to the other street to the river, and as you can see there are not much people here. Of course it's not as nice as the other one, and there are no souvenir shops if you want to buy a lot of souvenirs, but if you look on the other side, also not so bad. And I can just walk without having to fight against other people and trying to find a way in the walkway. So very good. And also from here you can already see the Oriental Pearl Tower, and I will now just walk to the front and will be much faster than all of the other guys which have to wait or have which will walk in the big crowd on the other street. So another advantage of not taking the main road is that when you arrive here, just one road in parallel, it's called, I show you the sign here, it's Jiaojianglu, and if you take this road then you will arrive here, where you will also arrive at the place where you can go directly up to the Bund to see the skyline, because when you arrive at the other place where you usually walk, then you can't go up directly, especially during Golden Week. The ways where you can go up and go down will change, so it will not be as usual where you can just walk up where you arrive or go down at the same place. So they will separate the entrance and the exit to the Bund, and the entrance is some more to the right, or you can also walk to the left, but here's one. And when you just walk the other street, you are much closer to the actual entrance, which makes it also easier to get up and see the Bund. So, and as you can see behind me, so there's the crowd which come from the other street, and the street is very narrow, so not so easy to walk there. But here, as you can see, not so many people, much easier to walk and much easier to cross the street, because it's not as crowded as over there. And just one parallel street to the right, very easy. So, as I told you already in other videos, you don't have to stay here directly at the place where you enter the Bund. Just walk a little bit to the right or to the left. So at the moment I'm walking to the right, and you see there are already less people. There are already some free spots where you can take some good pictures, and the perspective is still very good. And as you see, as I continue walking, there are less and less people, more and more free spots, so you don't have to stand there and try to get a picture. You can just walk a little bit and then get your spot to see the skyline. So there are the crowds arriving from the Nanjing Road, so that's where you don't want to be. So use the way I told you, or any other parallel road to the Nanjing Road, so you will come here much faster.